we are back in this property, and it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a lot of this stuff here, and it's hard to see because there's no leaves on the trees, and it's hard to see the dead briars, but a lot of this stuff will come back to life here in the spring. It's late February right now. Dad, he's on the mulcher. He's trying to get us a good path of a bunch of deadfall like what we got right here, and you see over there where that dead stump is, laying on the ground. So we're gonna try to clean up this area as much as possible. We're not gonna go too far back, probably another 50 to 100 feet in front of the track loader right now is as far as we're gonna go. But we're gonna come over basically to the end of this tree right here. This is an area that's already cleaned up for the power line going to the top of the hill here, corridor. So we'll see what this area looks like after we're done mulching. And then we'll show you what we're gonna do with the excavator over on the side of the hill over here.
Obviously, for those of you that know your equipment, this is not the excavator, but what we wanted to show is the area that we're going to clean up. So like right now, you'll notice this tree to my left as I'm picking this brush up to replace it, or not replace it, but place it in a different spot that's easier for the grinding to mulch it up. But that tree is actually going to be in the middle of the creek, and it's really hard to tell right now, but there's not much of a creek there, is there? So that's why we have the tractor down there, just to gather up some of the material that's along the banks, that's in an area that isn't as efficient to chase around the site for the mulcher to grind up. And then some of the bigger stuff, like you'll see right here, I'm grabbing it and I'm taking it over here into the back area to where it's not as visible for the time being, but it's an easy place where we can grab it and haul it off at a later time. So it's a sped up portion. And also, like right there, instead of the grinder having to weed eat basically around trees, I can take the tractor with the rake on the front of it and just kind of go through those areas and push it to where it's easier for the forestry mower to get it. So it's nice to have that tractor around sometimes. But now I'll actually show you the excavator portion.
Trying to clean up an area where an intermittent stream or a ditch, almost a creek, runs. It comes out of this holler up here and then goes down into this pond. So it comes through here, or it's supposed to. A lot of it comes through here. You can see where I'm walking that it's carried a lot of dirt and made its own little ditch. Comes here, takes a 90, takes another 90, and goes out to the pond. And this pond, it's got a lot of saplings in it. Not your ideal situation to have a bunch of saplings in your pond, but it doesn't hold water all year round. And the reason it's this low right now, though, is because back over here where the spillway is, we actually already dug. And it's messy over here because we were using our forestry mower to get a lot of these saplings through here, and we ended up getting stuck here. Seemed pretty solid until this little hole, but you can see barely there's a little bit of a trench right there where we dug out and allowed the pond to drain down and then dry a lot of this out through here. Obviously not enough yet to get the track loader down in here, or this close. So our goal is to keep the water from diverting up past where Dad is right now mulching stuff. Up there it kind of diverts and comes out of its banks. Well, of course there's not much of a bank right now anyway because it's filled up so much with rock. But what happens is it kind of breaks off into fingers, and those fingers, some of it comes down through here where I just showed you, and a lot of it comes down through the yard. You can see right here in particular this area where water has already created its own ditch right here and spews out rock into the pond. So it makes it kind of hard to mow in the spring and summer in particular. Brings rock into the grass. It brings deadfall and sticks and other debris from the woods into the grass, and then just makes it rough out here. So we're going to try to fix the water, keep it over towards the hillside, and hopefully out of the yard. And we'll see what it looks like at the end. So I want to take a moment and talk to you about this excavator. It's a 306 that we just recently purchased brand new from Wayne Cat down in Jeffersonville, and so far we've been really happy with it. It's only got about 40 hours on it so far. We've dug a couple of ditches along some driveways and done a few little things personally with it, just to kind of test it out and learn some of the new features that were on it. And we actually posted a video on the features and just a general overview of it. But now that we've actually done some digging with it and continue to do quite a bit of digging, we're going to do the stump, and then we're going to do some stripping in the creek with it here with a 3-foot bucket. And so far I've been really happy with it. The stump was a little bit harder than what I anticipated. You could say it stumped me a little bit. Pardon the pun, it's a horrible joke. But we were able to get it out without too much trouble, and continue to be happy with the excavator and the way that it performs. So here we are with a 3-foot bucket, as I mentioned earlier, and we're going to begin stripping the area that we need to grade out for the creek to flow better. And what we're doing right now is just getting the start and getting all the material off that's junk, like dirt that's mixed in with the rock and the roots and leaves and things like that. Because ultimately we're actually trying to get some clean rock down below, because we'll set that aside and kind of stockpile it for future use on the gravel driveway to fill potholes and things like that. But as you'll see in the video, we didn't really know how the machine would handle it, because it is a new machine, how it would handle the weight of the 3-foot bucket of the material, especially this particular material. It's not clay or solid rock, but it is creek gravel mixed in with dirt and other organic material, and as you can see here, there's roots in the stump in several different places, and we just wanted to see how it would handle. And the material, it does weigh a decent amount, being somewhat wet and having quite a bit of moisture in the ground. But again, I was happy with the way that it performed and the way that it would strip it off. The handling of it was completely fine, having an extra weight of 3 foot, as well as filling it up and slinging it over to the side.
Had no problem with it whatsoever. Again, I remain happy with the performance of the machine with the 3-foot bucket. So right here, this is kind of the slow part of the digging, right at the beginning. We were trying to determine what the best level or depth to dig to was, and we didn't shoot this. This is all off eyesight, and trying to determine that we don't dig it too far down to begin with, and just take a little bit off at a time, because we don't want to end up with another pond in the middle of this creek. We wanted it to gradually flow, but we had to remain somewhat flat the whole way from where the pond started to where the creek left the bank, up behind where the excavator is sitting right now. Not much a drop. You'll see in this next portion of the video, I take the track loader and put it down in here where I'm digging right now. That way it cleans up the edges a little bit better, and then start pushing material to the excavator so it doesn't have to reach as much. You can see it looks a lot different today. We got Dad up there on the excavator. He's just trying to shape up the berm a little bit. It's a little easier for him to do that and maintain good grade down here in the bottom, and I push towards him. So we've dug out quite a bit. I'm not sure how many yards we got here, but we got a pretty good bank going, 3 foot, 4 foot in some places. So what we're doing now, I'm working down here at the end, and I'm trying to shape up the ditch that was existing where the water had made basically, or eroded into place. So I'm just trying to keep it wide enough to where it can handle the volume of water coming off the hillside, but also shape it, the sides, so that if you wanted to get on it with a tractor or a mower or something like that, because it will grow up eventually. Here we are. It has since rained when we finish this project up. I'm gonna have a nice stream here now. The water's going where it's supposed to go. Before, like I mentioned earlier, up there, the end of the berm on the other side of that tree, about in this area right here. Sorry, my finger's not in focus, but the water would actually come out of its banks right there, and it would start to come over in this area and just make a mess through here. It would wash leaves and sticks and other debris, rock, and it would all go into the yard over here. But now that we've got the water going where it should go, it shouldn't pick up quite as much debris. And what debris it does pick up, it will funnel through here and into the pond down there in one central location where it'll be easy to pick out, instead of scattering all over the yard and also making a bunch of ruts and causing erosion issues in the yard, which in turn makes it harder to maintain. So this should be a lot easier to maintain. I shaped this bank about to where they mow, and then I stockpiled some rock, and it'll get cleaner as the rain hits it, so that it can be used to fill potholes out on the road, because it's a gravel driveway all the way back here. There's still some work to be done on the yard itself, but the main objective was to get the water going where it needs to be going, and we've done that. So this should last. You'll still have to clean it out, but it should last for a long time. But you'll still have to clean it out. There will be rock deposits that fill this up,
coming off the hillside and through the holler. But it should be a lot easier to maintain now. And it flows down into the pond. And then it drains out the spillway over there, the ditch that I dug, so this doesn't fill up all the way and then cause this to back up.